Yeah.
I have a question a little bit
Yeah.
related. Well, I want to know if it is, but what if my son's driving me nuts and I want to not focus so much on how he's driving me crazy and maybe find the joy left with that? Does this apply to that?
Absolutely. There are all sorts of techniques and strategies of how to work with that. So, say, for example, and now we're already getting into practical things, and I'll do this a little more later, and we'll have some things where I'll say, bring up an activity, we'll do it. This is less of an activity and more of a relationship dynamic, but rather than just go, yeah, I'll deal with that later, I'll say something. There's more than what I'm going to say. There's more possibilities than what I'm going to say. And since you're new to the whole thing, what I will say is anytime something happens, what we can look at and work with, first off, is our response to it. So somebody does something that upsets us. Whoa! Like a guy yelled at me in my car, and he thought I did something I didn't do, and he came over and I watched. But I have a habit of doing this. So we use meditation as the gym to get used to tuning into our experience so that when it happens in life, it happens automatically. We don't have to think about it. So he yelled at me and I went, whoa, I can sure feel my heat rising. And there was embarrassment and and I had a couple things I wanted to say back, but I was just watching it come up as this wave, and I know enough to let it kind of go back down. But you can watch your response. Remember how I talked about emotions, and you can just watch that response, breathe, let that flow through so that whatever behavior happens afterward does not come out of reaction. Because, like, for example, what happened when the man yelled at me, I watched that go up, I watched that go down, then I was able to see him from a different place, and I thought, wow, he's really got to have had a bad day to be turning to me and yelling at me like that. And so then when I processed my feelings, it left room. I didn't develop compassion in that moment. I think that's our natural state. That got out of the way and compassion naturally arose, and I then had compassion for him, and I was able to really see him. And I just opened, and he kind of went, oh, and he didn't have anything to hit, right? But and letting, because when something happens and we hold on to it, so there's that processing and letting that go is one part of it. And then that can affect your perception and behavior. Then there's things in terms of relationship that can go into, and that kind of gets into another realm. But that's one basic way of beginning to work with that. And you got some big things that there's a lot of stuff that I could say that could be helpful, but it's going to be a lot for you to absorb right now. So take in what you can, breathe, be kind to yourself. It's not a test. I won't go, did you remember what I said? I'm here. You can always email me about something. I can talk with you more afterwards. But that's a good question.